Right. Hello, Gemini. How's everybody doing today? I put up a poll to see. It looks like most of you are awesome. And a few of you are a little sleepy like me. I totally feel that. Actually, this morning I got up early because, well, first of all, I'm doing this earlier because I have a physical therapy session for my foot, which is feeling great, but I'm just trying to get it back into like 100%. So I couldn't adjust the time. So we're doing a little bit earlier today, kind of like the old days. So it's nice to get up earlier to be with all of you and set this day into sort of like the best possible motion. Apollo's resting in the background, so I'm going to leave him be. And we're going to get straight to work. Welcome, everybody. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to take a look at your monthly forecast, which will help you navigate the next 6 to 8 weeks. And basically, this is an important time to be doing this because we have a retrograde period coming through both this month and next month. Well, if you're watching live in April, and so it'll go through May as well. So this will help you with all of the energies associated with that, as well as basically just giving you what you need to anticipate changes and make the most of them. I'm all about empowerment here. So we're going to begin with channeled messages. Channeled messages for me come through dreams, meditations, and this morning, even the walk with Apollo, because your totem, the hummingbird, came to me during that period. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll get into the Celtic Cross right after that. All right, so here we go, folks. As I said, the first thing that we're going to talk about is the hummingbird, which to me is a super auspicious symbol. It represents a lot of different things, especially movement. In dreams, I saw something curious where a guide went through and pulled out a blockage, energetic blockage. And then there's the, of course, not just because of retrograde, but I also saw a document being revised. So we'll talk about that. First things first, this cute little hummingbird, which I think you can see there, greeted both Apollo and I as we took a walk this morning. I love hummingbirds because, first of all, they are high frequency. If you have any of them, if you have any feeders or if you happen to, walk around and bump into one, they have this beautiful sort of high-pitched chirp that they make. And of course, you can hear the vibration of their wings because they move so quickly. For me, it's a reminder that things are going to be okay. A lot of times the universe sends me one of these if I'm a little bit, frustrated over something or tired or uncertain, or I reach a block. It's saying, always look up, keep moving. So I'm going to relay that message to you if you've been going through a little bit of a challenging time. Always look up, always look around. This is just like a bee or a dragonfly. It represents transformation, movement, and also abundance because it's a pollinator basically, right? So new opportunities are coming up. They'll be a little bit faster. You have to be able to move with them and adjust to them. As we look at this bird continually on this clip taking a sip, it's a reminder also for you to try something before saying no. So anytime I see this, I love it. By the way, you may be coming out of a hibernation phase because every single night the hummingbirds go into something called torpor. And that's basically when they shut their systems down to almost a halt, basically just a very, very slow state of metabolism, so that they basically have to kind of survive with that until morning. So it's kind of like a bear. So you may be in the awakening phase from that, and it takes a moment. And just like this bird, you got to get out there, you have to move, you have to drink in the world a little bit. So if you're just waking up, if you're just sort of like coming out of some sort of a fog, this is a reminder that you're okay. The universe has your back. I also saw for some of you that there was a sort of energetic blockage, something that you were holding on to, something that could have also been dragging you down. So in dreams, we kind of go into this liminal or in-between space. Hey, Paul, you want to say hi to everybody? He's like, yeah, maybe. We go into this liminal space where basically, it's kind of neither here nor there. And I was looking at some of you it was like right around the arm space, there was a little bit of a blockage there energetically. Sometimes that can come through contracts. Sometimes that can come through attachments to people, places, and things. And basically, I saw the guides removing it. So if you're tuning in today, know that sort of energetic blockage is ready to be released, is ready to be removed. And so you don't have to feel like you are beholden to someone or something anymore. It's also if there's something in your life where you can't freely move, where you can't freely be, this is sort of a chance for you to look at that again and think, why exactly am I doing this? Why exactly am I here? And then this is also about not needing to wrestle with someone. I was thinking of arm wrestling as well. It shouldn't be difficult to get something done. There should be an easier flow going through. Thanks, Apollo, for showing up. We appreciate you. Let's see what the next card here is as well. This could also be just about a mental block. So I was shown one that was kind of attached to your body, but I was also thinking the block could be here and it's affecting your movement. It's affecting your ability to sort of like grab onto new things. And during the FAQ that I just recently did, not the FAQ, but the Q&A, wrong acronym. Someone asked me like, how do you deal with intuitive blocks or mental blocks? And I don't believe in blocks anymore. I think that if you achieve something, or like if you're experiencing something where you're not allowed to move forward, like an actual sort of environmental block, it's an encouragement to look in another direction. So usually it's redirection for me. So a no or a quote unquote block is really just more of a pivot. And I try not to think I'm blocked. I try to think I'm challenged to do something new. I'm challenged to look in a new direction. And the Four of Cups is really about looking beyond that feeling like this is the only way, or why isn't it working for me? Or why is this happening to me? It's happening for you, and now is a chance to let something go. And having more of a say in things as well. Also kind of moving with that energy of being able to write or to somehow connect to something. I saw in dreams a digital document where all the letters and words were moving around. So this is sort of a more updated version of like renegotiation, because we don't have to like redline things. We can put comments in the document. Some of you might be having a chance to basically reevaluate a contract or even just renegotiate it. Maybe this is your, it's a once a year sort of meeting with your boss and you're talking about pay. If you're looking at renting or buying something, there's actually room to bring it down a little bit if it's not what you like, or if there's something that's wrong, you want to highlight that first so you're not responsible for it. For those of you that are writers, you know that you can always rewrite a character, but we can do the same in our life. We can recast people. So if you have a parent or a guardian or a friend in your life and they're, you think, why are they always there saying these negative things about me? They don't have to be the enemy anymore. They don't have to be anything anymore. You can write them out if you need to. You can recast them as someone that is dealing with their own drama and trauma, but they're not going to be in charge of you. You're not beholden to them. One of the things that you can sometimes do is recast someone in a role of redemption. Like, I believe in their potential, but they have to be willing to do that too. So I'm ready and willing to see them redeem themselves. I'm not going to put them in this sort of role of being my, what is it? It's sort of like the villain. You don't have to have someone be the villain anymore. So move on. The energy around April 21st to May 14th is going to allow for a lot of RE words like rethinking, renewing, revisiting, reviewing, all of these things where you're going back and fixing, adjusting, and changing. And that's really what's going to be able to be of most benefit to you, I think, during this period of time as well. Okay, so beautiful messages across this particular spread of messages here. Again, quick movement, a removal of a block, and a chance to rethink or reimagine something in your life. I like that. All right, everybody, let's begin. Okay. Yeah, for the person that had the inflammation, what I was getting with this is increased blood flow. Standard disclaimers apply. I'm not a doctor, I'm an intuitive, but I sometimes get medical hits. I'm also highly empathic, so depending on who shows up, I can sometimes feel it in my body or see where the block is. And so what I saw looked like massage, because I heard a crunch and I watched as someone worked it out. So some of you may have, it could be scar tissue or cartilage or something, because I heard that break. It's kind of like you're cracking cartilage or something, but it felt better. I got that it felt better. So again, I definitely need to disclaim this here, but that's what I was picking up on. I heard the crunch, I saw the massage, I saw the blood flow, and that's my intuitive hit on that. But for all of us, I think that we could just be looking at blockages and allowing more flow in our life as well. Okay, let's begin now. We're going to take a look at the Celtic Cross and see what messages want to come through for everybody that's watching live or watching later. We got a volunteer. We got a couple volunteer cards, so we're gonna allow these to be the first two. They actually popped up as I was getting ready to shuffle. That's highly unusual. All right, let me get everything set up here. Again, so good to see everybody today. Lots of cards sticking together, which is cool. Definitely the energy is flowing through today. You can always use this for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus, and we will take a look at Sun, Rising, and Moon a little bit later, so definitely stick around if you can. All right, and oops, give me 1 second here. I'm going to turn off my heat here in a moment too, because it's getting warm in here. So let me just pull this last card. I'm going to turn off the heat, and then I'll read all of this for you. All right, let's go, folks. Your catalyst this month is the snake. Not just the snake, but the snake holding what looks like an egg. I actually did research the other day on snakes. Some of them are live births. Some of them, I think, are born from eggs. But either way, we can kind of look at this as two things. Sometimes snakes will come through and take other animals' eggs. So what we want to look at right now is protecting intellectual property, protecting, nurturing, and investing in something. It's very much connected to the daily card pull. If you haven't watched it for today, April 7th, when I'm reading it, you can go back and review it. So the short for today was around the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is potential, and potential requires you to sort of show up and say, yeah, let's do this. Yes, I'm invested. So an idea, inspiration, or intuition requires follow through on your part. And protection as well when you care about something. So protect it, follow through, etc. We can also take the snake as an auspicious symbol, just like the dragon. It's basically showing power, movement, and flexibility. And that was also part of the messages that I was bringing forth. So I like the positive messages with that. We also have two birthing and sort of like changing energies here. So every time a snake grows, it has to shed its skin, and whatever's in this egg needs to break free. So we had that unshackling energy that I was picking up on, and then also maybe like, in addition to sort of like letting something go, literally sort of moving into a new phase of your life as well. Pretty powerful, actually. And I like all of the messages associated with that. All right, let's go ahead now and take a quick scan at the cards and see what the Celtic Cross wants to show us. So let's see here. Okay, I always like to take a quick view and just sort of see what the overall energy is. We only have one card here that's speaking out as a major challenge, and that's the Nine of Swords, which, as this illustrator showed, is a lot of times more of a mental block, or it's in your head. And we talked about those blocks don't really need to be there. A lot of times they're just perceived. As we're looking at the rest of the energy here, it looks pretty good. We have a Wheel of Fortune. So there's changes. Some of the changes are out of your control, but they're happening, and that's okay. And we talked about needing to move pretty quickly. I actually feel great about this. This is something coming to fruition. A lot of energy around power this month as well. Let's get into the spread. We'll start with your center card. The thing that is moving you the most, or perhaps causing you the most sort of friction, could be how you feel. Queen of Cups upright is typically really good because it means that she's able to harness her emotions, her intuition, her creativity. And look at how she's taking a stand here. She's not seated in her throne. So I think the important thing here is to act on intuition. We were just talking about it, imagining that being an ace. Take a stand or nurture or move forward with an idea or inspiration. It's not going to move for you, but you're onto something. We've got the egg, we have the power with the snake, and now we have this creative and appealing energy with the Queen of Cups. And yes, for those of you looking for love, this can be a really auspicious sign because it's the center card. So there could be a water sign coming into your life, or you're just showing up as really appealing and really easy to connect to. All of these things are good. Across the board, I'm always happy if I get a court card, especially in cups. This is being crossed by the Prince or the Knight of Wands. So other people are interested in what you have to say, but they might want to see it. Wands are a little bit more demonstrative. Cups are very creative. We're not getting a lot of verbal energy here, so it is about showing and feeling and vibing. So if you have an interview or a date, it's not so much what's being said. It's the smile, it's the body language, it's the chemistry. In a sort of interview or presentation, it's all of that plus your excitement, plus your visual aids, plus what you're able to actually show. So definitely lean into nonverbal communication and demonstration. And we have a very active card. Knights bring it forward. So this is not a time to sort of drag feet, delay, or wait. It's a time to be proactive, productive, and communicative, but in a sort of a different way, as we talked about. Sometimes we can talk things into oblivion. So don't do that. Just show it, do it, give them some space, give them some time, move on to the next thing. And that sort of perfect level of attachment and detachment is what's going to make things happen. In a relationship, we'll talk more about love when I go into love, but this is kind of an interesting dynamic. So some of you might have a slight age gap, or there is this sort of, it's interesting. One of you really wants things to go your way. The other one is kind of going in a different direction. So there's power dynamics at play because I feel like it's hard to kind of keep this one person where they need to be. And that's okay because we're not supposed to control each other. But there's a free spirit and then there's this sort of managerial energy. So I think finding the middle ground between that is going to be the sweet spot for work, for friendship, and for relationships across the board. All right, looking at your deep past, we have the High Priestess. This is perfect for this month. It's telling me that you've already done a lot of work to help create, to help manifest, and help bring things into fruition. All you have to do now is basically trust yourself. And you are also more intuitively attuned than usual. So if you're picking up on something, just like, I guess one of the gifts of me doing this for upwards of 8 years, 8.5 almost, I mean, I've been reading for a lot longer, but having the YouTube channel is basically, I don't worry so much about sharing ideas. I'm not so worried about what people think. And one of the things that you have to do as an intuitive, fun fact, my undergraduate I was going to be a reporter once upon a time. Then I went to film school, but both were storytelling sort of paths. And I'm still doing that here, but I'm supposed to just report on what I see. It's not up to me to judge it. I say that in a, not in a sort of self-effacing way, but I am the medium, I am the reporter. You are the person that's also going to take and interpret and then follow through on these things. So if I try to take something out that I saw because I'm afraid of what you think, it's not good. Like I saw something, I'm just going to describe it. It will resonate with who it's going to resonate with. If we could all be a little bit more open, a little less worried about being seen as being silly. There's no silly questions, right? It's only if you don't communicate that sometimes things happen. So in the spirit of that, communicate. Let people know what you're thinking, especially if it's creative or helpful or constructive. You won't regret that. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at what's coming through in the recent past here. And we have a beautiful card here, the Ace of Wands. Look at that spark, look at that phoenix. We like this. Some of you are entering into kind of like a second chance or a rebirth. So maybe you've been, again, going through some challenges. And this is saying it isn't over till it's over. It's not over until you want it to be. And you could see the Ace of Wands as, it's basically like if you ever watch a conductor, you now have that sort of baton or wizard or sorceress or whatever, but it's sort of like use that now and do something with it. Use the idea, use the initiative, use the intuition, and conduct and direct. So you're the director and you can create some really cool things with this idea. But I'm definitely getting that the universe is setting the stage, but you're the director. You have to cast people and you have to direct it. And it's a really cool role to have. Directing and producing gives you a lot of power and a lot of say. And that's really what this month is setting you up to be, if you want to be. All right. Great idea. If there's someone new coming into your life, there's a lot of passion with this card. And I'm getting a lot of partnership opportunities. Your charisma, your passion is very engaging. So keep connecting with that. Okay. Yeah, this is a beautiful deck. It's the True Heart Intuitive. In my pinned comment, you can go to my website and there's a Dex link and you'll see it there. Rachel True of the Craft. She's a really cool creator of this deck. So, okay, let's look at your two crowning cards here. They're both reversed, and basically what I see is two different points of view coming through. So the presenting card was the Emperor, and right underneath it we have the Chariot. They're both boss cards, and they're both power cards, and neither is looking at each other. They're looking in different directions. One's looking straight ahead, one's looking to the side, and they're a little bit more concerned about what people think. This is the old guard. This is the old way of doing it. It's a very powerful card, but it may not be as progressive as the Chariot, which is looking, no, like this, that's been done. We have to try this. So for some of you, you're either in a familial situation or a work situation where you want to try something bold and different, and someone else wants to hold you back, which is what I was feeling, that sort of feeling being shackled or trapped or anchored. And so this is about removing or kind of starting to lessen that hold that they have on you. With newer decks, even like more modern decks, sometimes we just see a horse. We don't see a person. We don't see two sort of sphinxes or anything like that. It's just saying like it's all about movement. So the next step for you is to be bold enough to simply go for it, right? Let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about on this. So when we look at this traditional Emperor card, we have the Ankh, which is definitely its power, but it's also immortality and cyclical sort of energy. And then we have that crystal ball, much like my selenite crystal back there. And it's saying there may be a little bit of, what's the best word, a divergent energy between what you should do or what you know you need to do and what the sort of establishment wants you to do too. So there may be a glass ceiling, there may be a lack of room for growth. It's kind of like a plant that needs to be repotted. It feels like for some of you to spread your wings or to be able to truly grow, there might be a need to look in different directions, okay? So either way, you have the power, you have the potential, but there is a little bit of challenge there, and it may be hard to see eye to eye, and give it your best shot. And if you need to look in another direction, look in another direction. Okay, Wheel of Fortune. Everything that's happening right now is trying to align you to a more sustainable way of living, working, and being. I will take the Wheel of Fortune in the near future. It's even in reverse, it's good. But what we're seeing here is a change of fortune. So for those of you that have been really challenged, we see opportunity knocking. There may be stress, there may be a move, there may be this sort of anxiety that comes through. Can I do it? Will I do it? Am I strong enough? Like so many power symbols. Yes, but you have to sort of like work, and each of us works through our anxiety different, but being able to work through your anxiety is going to be one of the biggest challenges. This could also mean that there's not enough for your satisfaction. So this is about finding equilibrium. So let's say that you've been putting way too much energy into a romantic relationship and there's not been enough reciprocation. This could be having a conversation about that to see, is the person invested? At work, you could simply be underpaid. If you're overextending in your extracurricular or volunteer or community activities, this is also saying, what am I doing this for? Why am I here? We have the snake coming through again. There could be something where someone has not simply, they haven't let you know that there's more opportunity. They're holding back. We have a little withholding here. And even the way that this snake's kind of holding on to a prize here, I feel like there's more. If you ask, you might be surprised. It's just about kind of like auditing or investigating something a little bit, and then we see more money here or more opportunity. I look at this too as like when you're steering a ship, this looks like that, sort of like you're at the helm of the ship here, and it's saying, what direction do you want to go in? We have the hawk or eagle at the top, and it's basically saying, get some perspective, get a bird's eye view, and know that you can change this direction anytime you want to, okay? The way this card is illustrated, there's not really a negative way to look at this. It's just about cycles. We're seeing it in the global economy and regional economies right now based on, various things like inflation and some of the global wars that are going on and all of that. So there are cycles. We go through periods of recession, then we go through periods of rapid growth and correction. So rather than seeing yourself on top of the world or stuck, just see yourself moving through cycles and being able to rapidly adjust to the cyclical changes. If you do that, you're never going to feel like, oh my God. You'll be in fact, here's what we really need to keep doing is keeping the eye on the horizon. Where am I headed? It's actually a little bit of both. What's going on now, but really, where am I headed? Don't freak out so much with the environment. Think more into the future. And that's the power here. And that's where you're really able to do that. And trust your gut and instinct on this as well. Okay, some of you might have a new job. Some of you might be leaving a job. Some of you might be leaving a relationship. Something has to change in order for you to feel freedom and movement, because the snake also represents that. But the snake can represent the devil, which is the antithesis of freedom and movement. So finding that in your life is what's going to be important. You're showing up pretty nicely right now. We have the King of Swords. I featured the Queen of Swords. Speaking your voice, particularly during the Mercury retrograde period, which I think it was like April 21st to May 14th. It's in the slide. We'll look in a second. But this is about all the revisiting, reviewing, etc., sort of energies. This is eventually about people wanting to come to you and know, where do you stand? What do you want? So you are going to be asked at some point, what are you looking for? Okay, you're not happy with this. What is it that you want? We have a dragonfly on this one, which I love. So the dragonfly, just like the hummingbird, represents keeping the communication elevated. And what do I mean by elevated? I mean, if someone throws you a negative sort of, comment or insult or whatever, what you do is say, you take a deep breath and you try not to overreact. And if anything, you try to check in with them, let them know that you heard that, and try to lead by example. You have more power than you know with your communication skills, so lean into that. This is you too, Gemini. It's always good to show up as yourself. So we have the King of Swords, so I feel like this is going to be a good month for you. Trust in your ability to communicate. That's something that air signs do well. Let's see what's going on around you. And let me double check on the dates one more time. I just want to make sure I gave you the right dates. But let's see here. Yes, it is the April 21st to May 14th. I just wanted to look at that. Okay, looking at what's going on around you, we have the Nine of Cups. So there could be some elevated emotional energy going on around you. So this could be celebration. So let's say that you're in a company and there's been a really good quarter or something. There could be some sort of celebration. This could also be heightened anxiety or stress. The Nine of Cups can kind of go either way. What you want to do is stay in the positive energy of this. I love all of the sort of it's almost psychedelic here, but we see every color that would be in the chakra system kind of represented here. And it's basically showing you connected to all the possibilities and giving gratitude for each moment that you have, and just thinking, today's a great day. I'm going to make today a great day. Or I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy that this is going on. If you can start each day with a little bit of gratitude, you're going to stay in that high frequency. And this is basically the frequency of joy and love. So there's a lot to like about the Nine of Cups. Say yes to invitations and parties. Celebrate other people's success around you too. And just say, you know what? Great job. You worked really hard on that. And if you feel for a moment jealousy or a feeling of anger, just say, go move it to inspiration instead, and just say, I'm so inspired. You can even just say like, I'm a little jealous, but I'm so happy for you. How did you do it? Share your secret. You can always ask a question of somebody, but congratulate them and let them know like, job well done. Or if you like something, this is important if you're going to offer eventually constructive criticism. You should also be offering positive reinforcement. It's not just one thing. You can't always just criticize. There should also be some good things going on too. Just say, by the way, thank you for showing up today and doing this, or thank you so much for that. You saved me a lot of time. Thanks for the shout out, whatever it is. Show a little bit of love. And sometimes that's all there is. There's not, like this hidden thing where then you're going to, say, I don't like this. Sometimes just say, hey, hi, thanks. It's a good way to live, and it's going to make people happier and more open to kind of work with you in the long run. Something I used to do when I had a corporate job, especially if there was anyone in an administrative capacity or just coworkers in general, sometimes it would just be like, I'm going to go grab a coffee. You want to walk with me? And there was no agenda. Or how are you doing today? Or how did that test go? Or did you just check in because you like them and because you want to create positive vibes. So what we see here is the potential to build a more positive environment through, again, there's a lot of modeling energy coming through where you're going to be a leader this month if you want to. Okay. Let's look at what's going on in hopes, fears, and opportunities. Change, but there's a little bit of fear of the change. If we look at the card in the upright position, we see a scarab beetle, and then we see a human figure kind of within that. So we have rebirth, reincarnation, fertility, all of the things that the scarab beetle can represent. And then again, you kind of stepping into a new phase. With it in reverse, it's also saying, I don't need to carry the burden anymore. Traditional 10 of Wands, we looked at this yesterday. It might be, see if I can find it quickly enough here. But basically, it's usually a burden card. We see someone hunched over and feeling like, oh gosh, how am I going to get this done? Or why do I have to always do everything? You don't. So if you want to let go of some stuff, release some things, it's okay. You've proven that you can do it. You don't have to continue doing it. So in this one, we see the beetle wanting to rise above, but it is pushed down just like this for a moment, like if this card was in reverse. So this is a chance for you to say, that doesn't serve me, or I don't want to do this, or just simply, no, thank you. And it's a powerful tool that we don't use often enough. The main quote unquote block, which we already talked about, I don't really believe in a traditional block per se, but what we're seeing here is your mind getting the better of you, your fears getting the better of you. So Nine of Swords really encompassing going to a worst case scenario before you even know if that's going to be the case. So try to assume positives and possibilities and the best. Prepare for other scenarios, but if you can look at possibilities, that's going to make life a lot more fun, and you're going to be able to have a lot more perspective on things rather than we don't want to manifest this. This is a card of manifestation, and this is fear. So we don't want these two to interplay too much. If you pick up on a potential roadblock or a potential problem, say, all right, well, here's how I would deal with that. I'm going to get some insurance here. I'm going to have a little bit of contingency here. I'm going to have someone that I can talk to with that. Now let's stop worrying about it. Get your plan B, plan C, however many plans you need. Get them in place and then move forward. And if you really don't feel comfortable with something, then just move in a different direction. But the fear, that's the main thing that I want to kind of take you in a different direction from. And we'll look at that as we expand the forecast here in just a moment. Obviously with this, sleep is important too. We're not seeing it so much on this card, but it is about the quality, the quantity, and also what you're doing before and after you wake up. So what's the rituals around sleep and rest and self-care? And is there anything you can do to improve that? Okay? And maybe some of this requires things like exercise or talking to a therapist or talking to your doctor. There could be other factors at play. But if not, then it is just a choice that you make saying, I don't need to worry about this so much. As a kid, if I could go back and talk to like various versions of myself in school, like high school and middle school, I would have said, have some more fun. No one's ever going to care about, especially with what I'm doing now. No one cares what my GPA was or if I had perfect attendance. Fun fact, I did in high school and it doesn't matter. I wish I'd taken a few sick days when I needed it. No one cares. And now that I'm kind of doing my own stuff, no one cares where I went to school or what my GPA was. And I worked really hard for some of those things. And I would have then maybe like just taken a trip, spent some time with friends, like soaked in life a little bit. So you can make choices to just enjoy and not stress out so much. From someone who used to stress a lot, it's not worth it, folks. Okay. We're going to expand the forecast now. Basically, what we're going to look at is health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to begin with the energy of health, which is mind, body, and spirit. Disclaimers, normal disclaimers apply here. I'm looking at energy and I'm here to empower you. So as we look at this, we see your sensitivity is a gift. Hello. Could we have any more synchronicity than this? So it's a gift. Sometimes you may feel like it's not a gift. But it's always better to know, to feel, to see, to anticipate than to have a complete surprise, especially if there's a challenge associated with it. So the main thing that you want to be doing is managing the sensitivity. So everything I just talked about, if you feel a little overwhelmed, there are so many resources now and there's not as much stigma as there used to be associated with asking for help. If you are feeling something in your, especially in your health, in your body, talk to someone about that. A lot of times I've been able to pick up on things in my body that before they get worse, basically. And they're like, how did you even know that? I actually had a doctor say that. I'm like, I'm just very in tune with my body. You don't have to tell them your whole life story. And they're like, well, it's good that you came in. Yeah, we'll take care of it and everything's fine. So always trust your intuition on that. We have the starfish, which represents healing. And we have this beautiful seahorse, one of my favorite symbols because it's kind of the perfect blending of divine masculine and feminine. So, nurture yourself is what we can get from that. And it is strong to admit when you need help or ask for help. Okay. So that's basically what I'm going to take away from that. Let's look at the cards here and see if there's some additional health things. We talked a good deal about sleep quality, and stress management. So of course, looking into those as need be. This is a warning for any of you that do any sort of physical or manual labor, or like me, I moved last in the winter, and I had a bunch of moves last year, but one of them created a broken foot because I was carrying a box that was too heavy, and I lost my balance, and my foot snapped. Not fun. So don't carry too much. Don't try to do too much. Delegate. That's going to be really key. You can avoid an injury. You might be afraid to ask for help, but ask for help. Avoid extremes. This can be going too far with anything. Eating too much, drinking too much, exercising too much, worrying too much. It's a card of extremes. It can also sometimes be addiction or things of that nature. So avoid that. Those are the main things here. I'd love to see a little bit more movement. Again, I'm not a physical therapist or a doctor, so you can figure out what your body wants to do. But there's a lot of seated cards here in the crowning space. So if you can move, that would be good, but you have to do it within reason. That's about it when I'm looking at health. Overall, pretty good. Flexibility, we're getting multiple snakes coming through is going to be key. We're getting some fertility symbols as well. So for those of you that are trying, that's auspicious. If you're not, be cautious. All right. And that's pretty much everything for your health. We're going to move on to wealth, which is resources, life purpose, and career. And your message around that is, guess what? Leadership. No surprise here, especially if we look at the table here. We have the Emperor again and the Chariot leadership cards. We have the Queen of Cups and the King of Swords. There's a chance for you to partner. You don't have to do all of this alone. So maybe you're working with a group of people or with another person, but being able to have a say. And by the way, look at how closely aligned. I mean, I'm using radically different decks, but there's a lot of synchronicities here. This is saying, hey, this is my idea. This is where I intended it to be. Trying to keep some ownership, keep some control over something that's important to you. It's also about breathing life into this idea and taking it to the next level. I think it's exciting, folks, actually, when we're looking at this. Leadership. Some of you are ready for a raise, promotion, or to go out on your own, or to create a partnership with someone. We see a change of fortune. So if you're stuck, it's time to be unstuck. If you feel like this is all there is, the universe is saying there might be more. So open yourself up to more wealth, abundance, and opportunities. The main thing that you want to be looking for, though, is reduction of stress, reduction of pressure, and the ability to enjoy the moment in whatever it is that you do next, okay? Can you find a job? Sure, this is a decent job-seeking card. I will say that there is a lot of competition. So being yourself, finding a way to stand out a little bit is probably advantageous as well. You might want to look beyond your current city, state, province, or country. This can be a card of moving if you want to. Okay? Let's move on now to the energy of love. This is romantic, platonic, friends, family, especially as I look at the first card. So we have this beautiful kind of monk-like energy coming through saying, be graceful in movement and in action. And love that we have, can't think of the name of this, you guys will help me with that. But this is a wonderful hunter and has the ability to kind of like in the right moment, just sort of like pounce on what it needs. So I would say for you, timing and kind of like swooping in the moment is going to be key, because someone else might do that if you can't. So I do think it's important to raise your hand, speak up, and if it's something that you care about, make sure that you do that. Look at the serpent in the background. This is it's a praying mantis. Thank you so much. It just left my head. I'm like, I got to keep reading. It'll come in the comments. All right, so the praying mantis. Interesting thing with the praying mantis is sometimes they blend in. I remember at one of the apartments that I lived at, there was one sitting right by the door, and I looked out and it just kind of turned its head. They're very sneaky and they wait, and that's when they kind of act. So as a sort of strategic thing, which is what we can take it as, they get what they want because they're willing to wait and because nobody expects it of them. So you can surprise people with your timing, with coming forth with something that they just didn't see coming, and this can help you in a professional way, for instance. And we're looking at the elevated version of this. It also is auspicious because they're good hunters, so anytime I have a good hunter coming through as a totem or a symbol, it's basically saying you have a good shot of getting what you want. So if you're trying to negotiate for more money or something to come through it with a lower price tag because you're purchasing it, that's going to be advantageous. We see balance coming through with this as well. And then we have another serpent. This is the third serpent that came through. So this is about agility, flexibility, and basically not sort of hesitating. And I'm double checking here on the replay. And so it was another reversal. And so this is also about being able to possibly look in directions that people aren't, or move sort of like with more flexibility than the people around you. It's your flexibility that's going to basically make things happen. In relationships, what we're looking at is balance, flexibility, and also timing. Is it the right time to talk about something? Is the other party receptive? Are they on the defense? So let's go into love now. We're going to take a look at those of you in a romantic relationship or looking at your key relationship. Then we're looking at those seeking love or single and happy. Looking at core relationships first. What's going on? Well, the first thing is some of you that are already partnered, married, etc. I'm getting that there could be like in-law, parent, or patriarch, matriarch energy coming through, and it's sort of a dividing energy. So some of you may be in an extended family where that person lives with you. So there might be a mother, father-in-law, or it's your parent coming in to live with you. Who's the boss in that case? It's very tricky, right? Because you have someone who's used to telling one or both of you how to live. And then you're like, but this is my place and I'm paying the rent here. And then, meanwhile, they're like, yeah, I raised you and I changed your diapers and this is what I want. So there could be that challenge for some of you. Let's take that piece out. If it's just two of you, this can still be who's the boss, because you both may have, your own sort of way of doing things. So blending energy will be the most challenging thing for many of you. Understanding that you can both be leaders. There can be places where you both get your way, and then there's a middle ground where you make some compromise. The compromise isn't happening. How do you compromise? Communication. Who's going to lead the communication? Probably you, Gemini. And that's one thing. You may need a break. You may need a trip. You may need a little bit of space. This could be causing some stress. Communication is the main sort of challenge that I see here. Some of you might have a new child coming into the mix. That can cause stress. That can cause anxiety. It can also be exciting. It's about managing that as well. Here's the cool thing. For those of you maybe that are in a newer relationship, I'm still seeing a lot of passion, which is great. I still see a decent amount of communication. I see worries around money, worries around the house or travel, maybe even a little bit of long distance energy as well. So again, we'll keep coming back to communication being the key. Can these things be managed? Yes. But it's basically both of you need to find a middle ground in order for that to happen. And maybe you need to take it away from the home, go somewhere else. Again, a trip or holiday or something of that nature. Okay, let's move on to those that are single and looking. You got a lot of options this month, Gemini. I think one of the challenges is what is it you're looking for? Whenever I get this many court cards, we have Prince of Wands, Emperor, we have King of Swords, and we have Queen of Cups. That's a lot. That's a lot of people in the room. And so what I would say for you is typically there's a chance to be a little bit more discerning, a little bit more vocal, a little bit more sort of like projecting to the universe. This is what I stand for. This is what I want. So that would be what you could be looking at right now, is manifesting a little bit more clearly. And there is this sort of interesting tug of war when you're sort of trying to bring something in. You don't want a laundry list that's so long that nobody can fulfill it. And you don't want something so vague that you get too many options. It's just enough. So that would be the goal here. Focus on qualities, and I would say like 7 to 10 qualities you can look at, and that can kind of give you just enough things. And make sure you're including stuff like the person is available. That should be on the list if you're looking for a committed partner. Like I'm looking for someone who's available, who's emotionally sound, who's financially sound, who is empathic and kind, who loves animals if you love animals, who wants children if you want children. Whatever it is you're looking for, this isn't my list, this is your list. So put together the list that you want in your head, few items, not too many, and then say, and all of this are greater in divine timing. But you could say, I'm ready now. But I'm also willing to wait a day or two if this is the person that's coming through. So if you're ready now, whatever. Put it all out there and then let it go and focus on something else. Here are the something else's that you can focus on. Get your finances together. Pay your taxes, pay your debts, look at your checkbook, figure out where you're at on that. Are you happy with where you're living, working, or whatever? If not, it's time to move and to clear that out. How's your mental health feeling right now? Are you dealing with a lot of emotions? How are you dealing with stress? Are you doing anything like exercise or therapy or whatever to help with this? Really focus on these things first, because then you're going to pull in someone else who's done the same. Again, avoiding going to extremes is key. That's the main thing that I'm looking at here, and I think you'll be all right as long as you do that. If you are single and happy, good for you. In this period of time, what we really see is a chance to move up, and also expand creatively and professionally. So it's a really good period for growth. I still see some stress management coming through. I do see a chance for you to step into a higher role or more responsibility if you want that. Ultimately, this card is also saying take care of yourself, because you need to be able to continue to embrace this wheel of fortune as it spins. So take care of your body too, okay? Let's now take a look at destiny. This comprises a lot of things, actually. It's kind of like your direction, your dream, and how you're tracking, and it changes from month to month. What we see right now is a beautiful energy here with the sun reversed. The sun reversed is saying it's okay for you to prioritize yourself. It's typically the sun, if we were using like a tarot card, not an oracle deck, it would be a little baby riding on a horse. Here we're seeing the renewal energy. We're just focusing on the solar energy. So for some of you, the main thing that I can kind of tell you is today's a new day, and tomorrow will be another new day, and there'll be another new day after that. Whatever you don't get done today, try it again tomorrow. Whatever doesn't work tomorrow, give it another shot. And that's how you get there. It's spiritual practice. Every day you practice, every day you try a little more, every day you learn a little bit more, and every day you get a little closer to the goals, right? And that's what I'm getting with that. Power, solar plexus, definitely coming through whenever we see the sun card. Birthing and releasing, again, listen to today's one card pull. That's something that you can do to let go of something as well. Just basically saying, I've done everything I can. Let's move on. Let's go to the next item. And to that end, we're going to look at the big idea. Big idea is a single card that allows us to see what's all of this about. What's the cord that ties it all together? Five of Pentacles. Okay, Five of Pentacles. So it's a perspective card, and it's kind of like you're looking through a view. It's like if you have an apartment, you know, that little, whatever you want to call it, where you can see outside. That's what this is. For whatever reason, my words aren't all with me this morning, and that's okay. But nowadays, it's more like a Ring monitor. It's like our little camera you would look out. So are you looking with that tunnel vision? Because that's kind of what this is tunnel vision. And that's only going to help you see a little bit. Or are you looking all around? Because ultimately you have to be open to the bigger view here. So I think the big idea is this is a very small, very limited view. So I featured the Four of Cups. The Five of Pentacles works the same way. It's saying, this is all I'm worth because this is all I've been given. No, there's more potential. There's a whole world out there ripe for the picking. So Five of Pentacles, sometimes you're used to receiving or giving or opening up to less. And it's sort of like, that's just because others haven't seen your value or your worth. Let's look at the traditional card for just a moment. I don't do it for every card, but I want to look at the contrast between this. Sure, it could be a cocoon. To me, it also looks like, some sort of a tunnel vision. That's kind of what I'm getting with this. But the traditional Five of Pentacles represents a person in your life that you're reaching out to get help from, but they're also wounded. And it's like two wounded people that can't help each other. So sometimes this is a parent or teacher or friend, and you ask for help, you ask for assistance, you want more, and they're like, yeah, I'm dealing with my own stuff. You're going to have to help yourself. So whatever you didn't get in the past, it wasn't because you weren't deserving of it. It's because the person that was next to you wasn't capable of giving it to you. So that's a big difference. Unfortunately, sometimes we take that lack in the past as an indication like I wasn't worth it then, I'm still not worth it. No, they weren't ready to give it to you. That doesn't mean you weren't worth it. They were incapable sometimes of giving you your worth because they just weren't ready. They lacked the capacity. And so now you're looking through their perspective. It's kind of like, you're looking through a binocular sort of thing, but we need to look at everything around as well. Okay. So ask for more if you need to. You're worth it, for sure. And that's why the Wheel of Fortune might have been reversed for some of you. Limited perspective based on someone who also had a limited perspective. So you're going to open that up. Now we're going to drill a little deeper into sun, rising, and moon signs and see what the messages are. Sun, rising, moon, pretty good across the board here. All right, so we'll begin with sun sign messages. Really beautiful for all of you that are Gemini sun. So we have the Three of Cups. Definitely a time to get out there. This is a card that can represent celebration, a gathering, hanging out with friends, you simply saying, you know what? Job well done, even if you're kind of giving yourself a pat on the back and just saying, this was hard and I'm so happy I was able to do this. I really feel good about it. It's okay to celebrate your accomplishments. But if you're willing and ready to mix and mingle, this could be a time to make new partnerships, forge new friendships, new alliances, and maybe meet somebody new. So some of you are definitely kind of bringing, and again, I'm getting multiples here. So there's opportunities. You don't have to settle on one person. Make sure that you are happy. You don't have to settle, let's put it that way. Make sure that you're happy before you commit. And if you're not, say no. And if you're happy being single, good for you, but you should still mingle because the Three of Cups is saying the next job, friend, or opportunity could come from a gathering or invitation. So this is a month to RSVP yes to at least a couple of those. Okay? Good energy across the board. The only thing that I would say with this, if we were to look at things to avoid, definitely with Mercury retrograde falling between April and May, avoid gossip. It can and it will get out, and it will get to the person that you're gossiping about. Better to also take a stand and say, I don't want to be a part of this. This person isn't here. We're not going to talk about that. I'm going to go somewhere else. Disassociate, move away from energy that is highly critical, gossipy, or rumor-based. It's not worth it, and it's going to cause more drama. If there's something that you shouldn't say because of a non-disclosure or legal reason, don't say it. Really think about who you're sharing it with, even if it's a spouse or someone that you trust, because you never know what they might say accidentally. Just keep it under locks until you're allowed to talk about it. And this is just like more stuff that you shouldn't talk about. If there's something important and there needs to be change, that's different. But if it's like a corporate sort of thing and there's, you just be mindful of that, at least until we're out of retrograde, and then you can reconsider. All right, moving on to rising and ascendant. Hello, Ace of Pentacles. Again, take a look at April 7th daily if you haven't. Got the Ace of Pentacles. I talked about the fact that you always see a ton of growth on this particular card, and that it's potential that requires your movement, your investment, your sort of commitment. And once you do that, you start to see some exciting things here. This can be an invitation. This can be a proposal, someone saying like, hey, do you want to take this relationship to the next level? It could be being hired. It could be you selling something. It's an exchange of goods and services, an exchange of value. This is a really good time to negotiate. And you're a very good communicator, Gemini. You're able to see it from multiple points of view. Use that to your advantage. This is a good time to invest in yourself, to develop something for yourself, to create something, because this can be like a seed or an egg. That's basically what an ace is. It's all potential. But again, what are you going to do with the potential? You got two aces this month. Ace of Wands, an idea. Ace of Pentacles, bringing it out into the world. Okay, let's move on to Moon. Gemini Moon, we have the Two of Swords. It's perspective. Again, it's deciding, where do I stand? What do I want to do? And ultimately, this could be a period during which no one can say that but you. So there comes a point in your life where teacher, boss, parent, they may not even be there anymore. And it's just up to you to decide, all right, this is what I feel best about. Maybe people will criticize me, maybe they won't. But based on current information, based on heart, based on intuition, this is what I choose. And I can always decide later to go in a different path if I need to. I'm basically picking up on indecision and doubt. And you can trust yourself based on the cards that I saw. You have it. You just have to believe it. This is waiting for black and white evidentiary support. And when you're in a developmental stage, which many of you are in because we have this ace and even the second ace coming through, it's basically saying, okay, but development, research is what's already been out there. Development is about creation. Creation is about imagination and basically bringing something that you see and feel into the world. It's there because you believe it, and then your belief creates the reality. Believing is seeing, not the reverse when it comes to creativity. Otherwise, you're just observing what other people create. So you are creative, you are powerful, you have the potential to breathe life into something, go for it. That's basically what the Two of Swords is encouraging you to see, because nobody else is going to show you how to do it except you. So just try. You can ask other people, you can experiment, but sometimes you just have to invent something that hasn't been created. That's how we have light bulbs. That's how we have electricity. And that's how we have iPhones and Androids and, computers that weren't here before. So be willing and ready to kind of like boldly go into a direction that others haven't. Okay. All right. Let's now take it to the last portion of the reading here. I think we got through all the main portions here. what we're going to look at in just a moment is we're going to talk about the final card. The final card is basically one last question that you might have for me, and I'm happy to take a look at. Before we do that, throw me a like and subscribe if you would be kind enough to. I'd love to get to another milestone. I'd love to reach more people and do more videos. So it's free to do so, and I appreciate it. You can also follow me across social media for recaps and for news and updates. A reminder that I don't offer private readings. If you ever need to make sure that you have all the right handles, you can go to my website. If you want to give back, it's optional, but you can do that by becoming a member or giving super stickers or super thanks, or also like on replay, hitting that little heart button. Okay, let's get into the meditation. For the meditation today, I think it's really about coming out of your shell. So I like the energy of this sort of cosmic egg. You could imagine that anything that you want to be could come out of this. So let's imagine, just close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath and just feel the energy of your body. If there's anything that you're holding on to, any sort of pain, discomfort, frustration, on the exhale, really sigh that out. Push it all the way to the horizon. Do that a few times. While you're doing that, imagine that you have this beautiful cocoon or shell of energy around you, and that within this cocoon or shell of energy, you are safe. You can explore, you can experiment, you can imagine what you want to be. Now imagine that just like a butterfly that's going to come out of this cocoon, or something beautiful, a bird that's going to come out of this egg, you have this new persona, this new energy. So see the new you, and as you're breathing, imagine that each breath you take, you start to push a little bit at this cocoon or shell until you are unshackled and free. And if you have trouble doing that, imagine that the rising sun is shining through and the ray of light is burning away that energy, so it's just you and you're free and you're connected to source energy. Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to play the singing bowl, and then we'll come back and we'll look at your final question. All right, take another deep breath. Imagine now that you are free of any of the shackles or things that were holding you down. All you feel is this sense of lightness, of even the ability perhaps to take flight or to sort of coast through the next portion of your life without the friction, without the doubt, without anything holding you down or back anymore. Keeping that energy of lightness and brightness, I want you to focus on your final question that you have for me. Keep that question in your mind. Let's shuffle the cards and see what the universe has to say. We got 2 cards, so I'll honor that. So your final cards are 2 parts. We're going to start with your presenting card, which is navigating structures. So the Hierophant, for many of you, is a bureaucratic loop that you need to get through. A signature, a gatekeeper, an approval. Can you do it? Yes. Is this possibly annoying and unnecessary? Yes. Is that how organized society sometimes works? Yes. There are some things that we have to do. We have to go and get our license or passport. We have to pay taxes. We have to do certain things in order to just function in a society. So get through that first and don't let that take too much time or energy. because what awaits you is this. Growth, abundance, opportunity, possibly love, the ability now to really feel that you are connected. And this is a power card. It's one of the best power cards that you can get because there's a lot of flowing energy through this, a lot of abundance and growth. This can represent a new home for some of you. This is the ultimate card for like home, house, sort of like safety energy. So this is a really good time to put a little bit of investment in keeping that space clean and feeling really grounded. But I love this for work, for love, for personal development. It's just a really nice card here. Everything that you're going through will pay off eventually. Notice the beautiful bright sun behind him as well. Great card, great illustration. Okay, that's everything for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Thank you so much for being a part of this and for taking some time today. I'd like to give back just a little bit of gratitude here at the end, so give me a moment here. I'm going to say thanks to the newest members and anybody that gave a super sticker or super chat. Just a reminder, I'm live every Monday, Thursday, and Friday looking at all the monthly readings. The times do vary, but I always let you know the day before so you can set a reminder. Usually it's between 10 or 11. Today we did it early because I had a doctor's appointment. You can also join me reliably every weekend around 9 or 9:30 for the Sunday Weekly Collective. Okay, just a quick thank you to Sarah and let's see, I think it's Gemini. Yeah, just spelled a little different. Cute spelling on that one. Thank you so much for new membership. I appreciate it. For supers, let's see, super sticker, super chat. Let's see, we have 2 today. Thank you so much to Diana and JMV100%. I appreciate you guys. Jill, thanks for your 8 months of being a member. I appreciate that as well. And I think I caught everybody. Hopefully, for those of you that were a little sleepy, you're more awake. We had 43% that felt awesome today. So I hope that by the end of this reading, we can get that to 100%. But in the meantime, sending lots of love to all of you. Thank you for being a part of this journey today. And always join me every single day for a daily card read under the Shorts tab or on social media. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.